Good morning. Welcome to the commute. So the commute, I'm trying to recoup some of my time. I spend almost an hour one way to and from work, and there's all kinds of things I've been wanting to do, been wanting to cover. The Davison and Invent Help Now conversation I've been wanting to have in forever, and so it came to me that maybe I could do this hands-free thing and just talk while I drive and go home, slap it together. I'm gonna try to stay away from that cut and piece editing that makes it say what I want it to say. I'm just gonna try and kind of flow and keep it seamless. That'll save me editing time, and I'll probably be able to get more of these out. So sometimes be a little patient, other times it'll be a good thing, because again, my intention is just to save money, save time, share my pitfalls, and hopefully some successes as I build a brand. Zen X10. So part of this reason to even take on Davison, as far as the conversation and Invent Help Now, was just because it's kind of fresh on the brain with somebody calling. It came from a friend of a friend, the friend saying, hey, I've seen some of your stuff, can this guy call you? I say, yeah, absolutely, I have no problem with that. Free advice day in, day out, as long as I got some time and it's not going to impact my day, because the questions can be pretty lengthy and the explanation may not make sense, and it's difficult. You got this great idea, what do you do with it? So the two concepts of Invent Now and Davison is that they offer services to help put your product into a box, present it to companies, help get it to market. Different price tags there, definitely based on the different level of your ability and how much they're going to do for you. But the gentleman said they were quoting him about 14 grand from Invent Help Now, and so I was more really interested in what he's going to get for the 14 grand, because I know I've used Davison in the past. It's been about 8 years ago, and I know what it did for me, what it taught me. Would I do it again? I wouldn't, because now I have the skills to do what they do at a much more effective level. I mean, I spent 6 grand. That 6 grand could have gone to actually getting a mold, and I could have been wiring this thing at home and actually producing some product and letting people test it, like send something that actually worked in hand to somebody, and have a little bit of money to try and throw at a patent, maybe to just keep it alive while I present the idea to people. But for 14 grand, I'm always for one, I start with, you have to be okay with saying 14 grand can disappear from my account, and I'm okay with that. Like, you literally need to be able to walk away from that 14 grand without a hurt feelings, broken heart, and being shut down, that it goes nowhere, produces nothing, and that you're right back feeling where you started, where you think you still have a good idea. Because these companies aren't there to shoot your idea down, and they probably should in most cases I should say. I mean, I want to say in some cases, but most cases, to be honest, my perspective back in the day was, because I don't see it in a Home Depot or on the market somewhere in a Walmart or something, it must not exist, because every good idea is going to be on the shelf selling like hotcakes somewhere. It's just not the case. Tons of good ideas don't make it to market. I've talked about it over and over and over. So just accept that your good idea, for one, might not be a good idea, but someone willing to say, hey, if you'll give me 6 grand, I'll help you put your bad idea into a box, and I'll pretend like, or I will actually pitch it to companies, but nobody's gonna bite it because it's a poor idea and it's been implemented in different ways, and the solution doesn't do what other things can do. So be wary of that. They probably won't shut you down in saying this is a bad idea. So just accept that. So your good idea gets presented to them, they give you a price. If you can walk away from that, great. I have a little piece here where I recorded and I show you what my product looked like, because at the end of the day, my advice to the gentleman was be able to walk away from 14 grand and make sure you come away with something. He's like, well, they're going to patent it. And I'm like, they're not going to patent it for 14 grand and do all this work. You're going to get a provisional patent. That's $135 for you to file your own provisional patent. Is that cost effective? To say you get a provisional, 1 year of protection, it's really not. I mean, that's what you should be able to do as a minimal to start protecting yourself and potentially sharing your product with other people. He wasn't really willing to share with other people and to get the feedback. That's critical. You need people to touch or at least see or think about what you're doing. They're going to give you all kinds of advice and tips, and especially if you can get something in their hands to touch and feel, because you're going to get the full user experience to try and say, here, just give it to them and see how many questions they have. You need a product that's dummy proof and somebody can get right away without a lot of questions. It just makes sense. And as you see the difficulties people might have, you totally have the opportunity to fix those difficulties. So get a provisional, do it yourself, let people touch it. If you still find that you want to go to a company like InventHelp, and make sure you're walking away with something. Now, I came away with a box and a product that was in that box. There's nothing special. I could have done that myself for just a couple $100, you know, between some time to engineer it, 3D print it. Let's say you even paid somebody to 3D model something for you. That's a couple $100 to probably do it. If you can give them the basic specs to what you're looking for. Not a big deal. Generally, you don't worry about people stealing your idea. You can sign non-disclosures if you feel you want to cover yourself in case someone tries to screw you over and it's worth some money, because just because somebody screws you over doesn't mean you should bring legal action, because the whole legal side of things is redonkulous. It's cost so much money to do anything with that. Just no one accept that you're going to share it, you're going to cover your bases, see what pans out, but you actually have to show this thing is worth millions and millions before I would ever talk litigation or going after somebody for crossing you up. So do the minimal. This guy better come away with something in hand that's actually tidy, right? So whether it be audio, video, hands-on demonstrations, a product in hand that, you know, it all comes down and they say nobody's interested, that he can take it and start peddling it and walking into places to say, hey, my name is, I've got this product, can I show it to you? See if anybody will buy it. Nothing wrong with that. Totally works. People that get it are interested in good products. Absolutely. It's totally possible to do that. So, at the end of the day, what'll happen with that, I don't know. I think for a newbie, you know, sure, use a Davison, use an InventHelp Now. I'm totally interested in what he told me with InventHelp Now, is that they were offering to maybe take a percentage of the cut if it goes to market. That should be a turn on versus a turn off. I totally believe anybody that's going to try and help you get somewhere needs skin in the game. They should feel like, if I do good, I'm going to get more. Hopefully they do better than what good is. They should do great. They should be like, I can run with this. And you should be okay with giving away points for that. Getting someone that cares about your product as much as you do is a huge thing in the value add in helping it succeed. So it sounded like InventHelp Now was offering that. Totally cool with that. I think that's a good perk. You might feel like you're getting spanked, taken advantage of, but for a newbie and a first timer and whatever, you've got to do it. Your idea is really not going to get wheels if you're not able to make some of these concessions. And, you know, like when you watch Shark Tank and they're like, you know, they want 40%, and then they're not even willing to go down to 38% because that 2% is going to kill the deal. I would never, ever walk away from 2%. It just doesn't make sense. You're there, you don't have the resources. That's why you want people to be on board with you that have the resources. You know, give a little something to get a lot back. Absolutely. So, I'm not anti those companies. just make sure you come away with something and you're okay with walking away from the money. Because everybody, man, everybody has a good idea. And they think it's pretty solid. Or they'll be like, man, that was my idea that I had 2 years ago, but I didn't do anything with it. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. It's a fun game, though. You should have hopes and dreams. You should think and have solutions to your everyday problems. You know, innovations that comes from solving your own problems. There's a saying that goes along with that. I'm trying to remember that. You know, the innovation is the mother. No, problems with innovation is the mother. The innovation is. Maybe you get it. I forget it. But in the end, solving problems, that's where almost 100% of my ideas have come from, is solving problems. I've got a GoPro mount. There's no good place to mount a GoPro when you're wakeboarding. From the boat's too far, on yourself is too close. I had a problem, and I literally wasn't even wakeboarding at the time, and the idea came to me to how I potentially could solve that problem. My dune whip for dirt bikes was that we like go to the dunes every year, and I hated every other mount out there, so I wanted a solution to my problem. One of the things I licensed for risk racing was to shut off the fuel when you're filling a dirt bike, but to be compatible with every other can out there, because I don't want them to buy a new can. I just want to say, hey, I can solve your problem if it's a big enough problem for you, because you'll have the haters that are like, I can pour some gas without dumping it. And I'm like, hey, good job, because technically mine means I won't drop my cap in the sand or the dirt. It holds the hose in the proper filling position, so it's so much easier for me to do what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to change what you do, but this product might offer something to you. And when I offered it to Risk Racing, they just got it right away. Totally got it. We were able to produce that. It came around really quick. Anyway, those are good times. So hopefully you're got some good ideas, you know, rumbling up. Give it a chance. Reach out to the resources you need to. I mean, don't sit on it. Yeah, try and push that dream forward. It's a fun process, to be honest. Don't make it uptight, man. Enjoy the process. You're gonna have plenty of failures before you have a success. So start with whatever you've got. Spend the minimal to do it, though, because if you suck up too much of your resources, you're gonna screw over all the rest of your potential ideas that come up, because you've sunk the bank with the first one. Yeah, super sad, man. I actually hope this video works, because when I'm driving, it's so loud. You know, these guys built this directional microphone. I'm trying it out for the first time. It's a Rode directional. It just plugs into the microphone jack. Seemed like it was gonna work for me, but there's products that people want and need, absolutely. But how you present it, how you market it can totally make or break a product. So, yeah, I've just heard so many nightmare stories of people getting product here that wasn't good product. So they lost, you know, this, you know, some 6-digit number in producing a project that the quality was just crap. And maybe you can't bounce back from that. That's why you giving away concessions to people to help you get there on their dime and not your dime is totally worth your money to get you started. You can get product here that's great, but you don't know how to market it or get sales, and you put it into some storage unit, and then somebody doesn't pay the stupid bill, and then you lose all your inventory. You know, there's some bad stories out there. So dare to dream, live the dream. Try not to spend a lot of money, because it's a learning curve, and you might need just more than one good idea. It might be the 4th or the 5th or the 10th or the 20th, but you can be working on all those ideas and trying to push them all forward if you don't sink all your funds into the one thing that may or may not fly. So yeah, right now I'm listening to a Damon John book talking about a bunch of different success stories and the grind that they go through. It's kind of interesting. There'll be more to come on that. I don't want to make this video too long, so I think I'll cut it. I'll have more to talk about later. Not quite sure what the topic will be, but again, I wanted to cover Davison, invent, help. Hopefully help you find some more progress to success. And you know, if you get there, I'd like to hear some of your stories on success or tips as well, because there's stuff I don't know, and we've been super lucky and fortunate to get over some hurdles and find some things that we need as a company to succeed. And so now I'm starting to have some more of the fun of building the brand and t-shirts and stickers and interaction and finding people to ambassador a product. These are the fun times, absolutely. So get there, you'll like it, but don't stress out and kick your dog in the meantime. For everybody that goes home from road rage, I always picture there's some dog getting kicked, and that's just not cool, man. Not cool. Anyway, we'll hit you back. Make sure you follow, subscribe. I am also putting this on SoundCloud, so if you don't want to see this pretty face, you can listen to me there. And there will be more to come on The Commute. Later. Alright, so when I was talking about Davison, I thought I would show you the product. This was the packaging that they created, called the Pump Saver. Had a little note on the back to say important, just to let everybody know. I guess I pictured more like they were in sit-down situations of presenting this product. Maybe it was just, hey, we're gonna mail you something, look at it. But if you were to receive this, can't say it would be too spectacular. Had some basic premises here, and of course they were going off my feel on what the product should and could do to come up with this scheme to try and pitch it to companies. And like I say, at the end of the day, this is what they gave me. So dusty. But they took my product details. This is kind of what they envisioned, something you could wire in line, which is how it should have worked. A little float that would show the flow of water. So as long as it's flowing, it's on. If it stops flowing, it's off. You know, and I pictured this thing working in lots of different scenarios. But I don't know who they pitched it in front of. I haven't pitched this to anybody since I got it back. So I can't say that the whole Davison, you know, start to finish was super beneficial. It was a learning curve for me. Could potentially work for you. I don't know how to best answer that, to be honest. Everybody's product is going to be a little particular, a little bit unique. This one would have, could have worked. I did send out feelers to companies to try and get them to bite. Never did. I think if it was literally, if I were to follow through with a patent and send the information to somebody and have it patented and maybe I could have more conversations. But knowing what I know now, you know, if I had the funds to pursue it, I could just produce it at a low level. These days I would try and leverage your things like Indiegogo, Kickstarter, places like that, where you could try and get some community feedback. Now those aren't as root as you would expect them to be. Because you might think, oh, I gotta post it and people just peruse and look for things, and they kind of don't. You really spend a lot of money even on marketing in those areas. So you gotta have a budget to get things to really flow there, unless you can get some root type social marketing from people to go out and try and let people know you exist and find some traction that way. Because I've tried it before with some niche products, and it's not super straightforward, guaranteed to get a lot of eyes on your campaign. So I mean, you're looking, you need tens of thousands to 100,000 of eyes on your product, especially if it's niche. If it could cross and be in anybody's household type of product, you know, hundreds of thousands would be wicked awesome and probably give you a good return. But mine was super niche. But I'll still try it again. I think I have a better way of presenting it and getting it to flow. So yeah. Anyway, that's my Davison product. You know that I spent the $6,000. This is what I got from them. And again, I haven't touched that for years. But anyway, thanks Davison for teaching me something.